So I just got the keys to the new studio space and I want to take you with me on the ride. It feels really weird moving all of my stuff to a new space. It's the first time I'm doing something like this, so yeah, I guess it's quite normal. The first room I'm renting is this 40 square meter room without windows, which is ideal for recording videos. The room will house my YouTube studio as well as my music production studio. A common question I saw when I posted about this on social media is, doesn't this cost a lot of money? Let me just tell you that I'm no YouTube millionaire just yet. The prices where I live are actually very cheap for a space like this compared to most big cities. So as you can see and hear, there's a lot of work to be done here. There's a massive, of course, reverb. It's a very big space. This room is a lot less echoey because, yeah, there's an under roof here with some acoustic tiles and yeah, it's an office. So this space will be my editing space where I'll sit and edit videos because I do need some sunlight in my life. The irony is, of course, that I'll be using this room here a lot for storage and the storage unit for something else, for music and video. At the face of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. This room has better light from the windows, it has better acoustics, but the problem is, of course, that if you're playing something bass heavy in here, the bass will travel to neighboring offices and disturb others. So that's basically why I went for the storage unit, because it's decoupled, the bass doesn't travel very far, it's very heavy concrete floors and concrete ceiling, and the bass just doesn't travel into neighboring offices. So that's why. This is day 2 of the move, and I'm taking some of my bass traps, some of my absorbers, and moving it over to the new space. As you probably heard already, it's super loud, like super echoey, which is of course a feature of a room this size and something you have to deal with. And yeah, I hope to be able to fix it, and hopefully it's not too expensive. And one way to save money is to buy stuff and keep it for a really long time. I don't know how long I've had this, probably over 10 years, I think. A very trusted storage unit, so yeah, definitely coming with me to the new space. I posted some pictures of my bass traps and absorbers on Instagram and I got a lot of questions about it, so let's talk about DIY absorbers. Making these absorbers here, it's not difficult at all. This is just a wooden frame. Let's see how thick it is. I think it's about 20 centimeters, screwed together like this, nothing fancy at all. And it's just filled with mineral wool. And in this particular design here, you can see that we can easily fit 2 slabs, probably 3 if we want to push it a bit, and if we're okay with it bulging out a bit on the back. So this gives us a lot of absorption. And yeah, as you can see, I've just taken a piece of cloth here and put it on the back. Pretty important that the fabric can breathe. And it's, yeah, of course, like the density of the material and stuff like that is very, like the acoustic properties of whatever you're putting in there is very important. But the point is, it's not that difficult to make. And I've just stapled the fabric here very tightly, and yeah, and there's some hooks here as well to put it on the wall. I just used 1 hook on each end. And the point is that buying something equivalent to this is about like $100, maybe even more. Sure, it'll look a little bit nicer, maybe the fabric's nicer, maybe the build is more solid, but in terms of acoustic properties, I think you can really do it for a lot less if you do it yourself. So don't be afraid. Look up schematics online, make them yourself. And just some very quick tips on placement. So you want stuff on first reflection, you want stuff behind the speakers. Over here, first reflection, and don't forget about the ceiling. And when it comes to placement, don't forget about putting stuff on the back wall, because sound reflects off the back wall, of course. And another tip is to contact an acoustician who can help you with measurements of your room, possibly also providing you with schematics for bass traps and absorbers that you can make yourself. The advice I've gotten is that it's way cheaper to do it like this than to buy pre-made. I don't know why I brought this. This isn't very good, but I had some laying around, so I took it with me. Here, a lamp, modal sculpt, pulsar. And over here is the first big synth that I bought for my home studio, the Moog Sub 37. And here's my old kitchen table that I'm gonna use to record videos on. I love the kind of dirty look. I hope it'll look good on camera. Now this here is something I definitely need to do something about, or make the landlord do something about. This is the switch for the internet for the entire building or entire floor. So yeah, definitely have to do something about it. So this is the basic idea for the video setup. So I'll have the camera over there, big table, the top-down shot of the table. And over here I'll put a background stand, probably 2 or 3 different backgrounds that I can alternate. And having thought about this problem here a little bit more, I'll probably just close off this door, and over here I'll put a soundproof door. 3540 dB should do it. I'm gonna be real with you, there's a ton of work to be done here. Mainly it's acoustic treatment, but also some isolation. I need to maybe cover up one door in order for sound not to leak out as much. And yeah, it's it's a ton of work, but I sort of knew that going into it. And so far it's a little anxious because it's the first time I'm doing something like this, but it's also a lot of fun. So I'm no different than a lot of you. I want things to happen fast. I don't have a lot of patience, especially when it comes to something like my hobby. I want to just get stuff done. I want to start making music, and that's a big struggle, because this is gonna take some time, and I just have to accept that. Doing the research is super important. Looking at alternatives and not spending money on stupid stuff. Asking professionals for advice, hiring help if you need to. All of that stuff is super important. But most importantly is take your time. Don't do everything at once, don't rush it. So I'm gonna try and do that, even though it's not so easy. I just want to put up a synth here and start working. A really big thing when you're doing your studio space is, of course, inspiration. Let me show you some inspiration that I have for my space. So I want some kind of background. For the YouTube studio, I want some kind of background, something like this maybe, something, yeah, this just looks nice and warm, and yeah. I'm looking to get some pegboards for tools, but also for chargers and stuff like that. And because I'm a Swede, I have of course looked at some IKEA stuff. And I'm of course looking at cool studios, just getting some inspiration here for my space. I was also recommended this really cool YouTube video here by Bobby Obsinski. I hope I didn't butcher your name too much, but I'll drop a link to it in the description of the video. It's a pretty good video, just going over some basic tips on isolation and acoustic treatment. So I am getting a better and better idea of what I want to do with this space, how I want to solve the issues that I have, and I'm getting more and more excited, and I hope to share it all with you here on BoBeats. So don't forget to subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, write a comment. If you have questions, drop it down below. And I hope to see you in another video. Now I'm gonna go and have a cup of coffee.